Got it going here, and we'll get it started slowly but surely. Here we go. All right. So I'm going to let Brianna take over first and kind of set the foundation of your education. And um, I can't see the chat, but we can definitely answer questions afterwards. So be totally comfortable putting them in the chat now as you're thinking of them, and then we'll review them at the end of the class.
Absolutely. And we both had the challenge of trying to condense this into an hour because, again, I know I speak for Carol, we could spend hours on this. So again, if you have any questions, we're more than happy to go into it, but this is more of a kind of brief overview. So a little bit more on my end. I am a national board certified health and wellness coach through the NBME, which is the organization that DOs and MDs go through before they can practice. So really important on my end to make sure that I had the right, education background so that I can best work with my clients. I also was internationally certified and I'm a licensed chiropractic technician. I'm also going through the process to become a personal trainer, again, just to be able to help clients more broadly. So I think on your end, just making sure you know who you're working with, what are reasonable expectations, and how they can best help you through their background and their experience. Also, I am an integrative practitioner, which means I combine aspects of conventional as well as traditional. So think of, conventional medicine like going to your PCP once a year, and then more functional ends of maybe energy healing, essential oils to some acupuncture, chiropractic, all of those things. So I do not replace anyone on your team, but I'm usually the central core person on most people's teams. So they'll bring different ideas, recommendations, and we talk about how to integrate that into your goals. And I help hold you accountable along the way. So kind of an overview of what I do. And then on to the 10 areas that I focus on. So tonight we're going to talk about nutrition, sleep, exercise, and stress. It's very hard to pick just a couple, but again, for the sake of time, I think those are usually first and foremost on most people's minds. But again, and when you address one area, it doesn't exist in a bubble, right? So all of our choices affect our overall health and wellness more broadly. And so thinking about how to balance these all together and the relationship that they play. And the good news is that oftentimes when we make healthy choices in one area, it kind of trickles off into the others too, as we'll kind of learn about. So again, starting with these four, but also think about how do these intertwine with some of the areas overall, and how can making healthy choices here get you closer to your ideal balance. So we'll start with nutrition. So as you can see, these are the 10 leading causes of death last year. All of them are in white except for one. Curious if you guys want to take guesses in the chat. What is the difference between the 9 in white and the 1 in black? Give you guys a couple seconds to think about it. Maybe again, drop in the chat if you want to, if you're brave. Okay, so hopefully some of you guys were kind of on this path, even if you didn't share it, if you're just thinking it mentally. The difference between, yes, okay, I'm seeing Joan. Yep, we can control everything but the accidental, right? So the other 9 things are all within our control. So that means that out of the top 10 causes of death, 9 of them are under our control, linking back to health choices, whether that's food choice, exercise, sleep, stress, any of these areas broadly, they all come together to, again, push us closer or further from health. And so I think it's very powerful to just let that sit with you and realize that a lot of the causes of death are in some way under our control. And it's really not too late to start taking the steps that we need to be focusing on healthy versus focusing on potentially an early death. So now the good news, again, things that we can do. I like to start with water because it's a pretty easy goal. And I usually recommend starting at about half of your body weight in ounces. The higher end would be about 120, which is a gallon. So I wouldn't recommend more than that. But again, this is just an average. Each person needs to look at their own specifics in terms of, food, any type of exercise, any pre-existing conditions, those kind of things. But generally, the more water, the better. It helps our metabolism. Really great for weight management, inflammation, a lot of disease prevention. And again, great place to start. Pretty affordable. You can carry water with you throughout the day. You can even drop some essential oils in there, make it taste better if you don't like the plain taste of water. So I always recommend starting there. And then with digestion, inflammation, and metabolism, interestingly, a lot of these recommendations and things we should be doing are similar for all three, if not the exact same. And when I give recommendations here, I want to think of what can we eliminate that's causing potential problems, and then what do we want to add to improve our health overall. So when it comes to digestion, think about eliminating sugar, processed foods, refined oils, and add in pro and prebiotics, herbs and spices like ginger, turmeric, those kind of things. Whole fruits and vegetables, so you get the fiber and the polyphenols from all the colors. Again, the water is great here. And also thinking about stress management in terms of digestion, and we'll kind of hit on that later when we get to stress. For inflammation, thinking about crowding out the unhealthy choices. And this is a technique that I use in coaching pretty often. Instead of thinking about what we're taking away, we can just naturally gravitate toward healthier choices, and that tends to push out the unhealthy options. But again, kind of eliminating a lot of potentially inflammatory foods. So doing some type of elimination diet for a little bit, just to see what might be causing your specific inflammation. And then also, again, understanding inflammation and the way it works. So brief overview. In a sense, your body is attacking itself when it's inflamed. So there's two different types. There's the acute and there's the chronic inflammation. And acute inflammation is good. Our body needs to have that to some extent, but when it's too long lasting, that's when we have the adverse health effects. So again, figuring out what's inflammatory to us and trying to reduce and eliminate some of that, so our body isn't misreading some of the signals and kind of attacking itself in that sense. Also, glutamine can be really helpful for inflammation. So thinking about kind of healing the gut and the digestive system as a whole to reduce inflammation widespread throughout the body. Little disclaimer, again, this is not 100% foolproof for everybody, but these are general ideas and good places to start. But very much so, listen to your body and what it's telling you and go based on that. But again, by and large, reducing some of these things is only going to have positive effects. Sorry, if we can just jump back really quick, Kara. On the metabolism end, very similar recommendations. Thinking about weight management and exercise, and we'll touch on that soon, but ways to speed up metabolism through food, exercise, and other sources. Again, water is a great thing to do, but we want to reduce inflammatory foods, simple carbs, sugars, reduce alcohol as much as we can, and then increase that healthy protein, things like whole eggs, fiber, and then also eating earlier in the day and eating less as the day goes on. So one of the sayings is have breakfast like a king, lunch like a prince, and dinner like a pauper. So we slowly reduce the amount of food we eat throughout the day. Thinking of food as fuel, right? We don't need to fuel up right before bed. We need to fuel up in the morning before we go and do our busy day. One more thing I generally recommend, if it grew on a plant, thumbs up. If it was made in a plant, thumbs down. Again, not 100% foolproof, but by and large, like if you could grow it in your backyard or someone somewhere in the world can grow it, it's probably a healthy option. If it has 15 syllables and you have no idea what it is, probably not that great for your body. Okay, now jumping into exercise. Interestingly, the best time to learn is right after exercise because of some of the endorphins that our brain releases. So if you have, you're studying, you have a big presentation, something you really want to focus on, exercise right beforehand, particularly aerobic exercise for those best results. And then for some general recommendations, I like to really start by talking to clients about defining their specific goals. Are you exercising to build strength? Are you exercising to reduce inflammation, maybe prevent disease? All these goals have different implications in terms of, food you want to be eating, the type of exercise you're doing, what kind of stress support you need around it, etc. So figuring out first and foremost what your specific goal is. And then I also highly recommend for almost everyone doing some kind of walking. Interestingly, the best time to walk is actually after a meal. Again, food is fuel, so you want to eat and then go do something with it. So if we can walk throughout the day, especially after meals, that'll be the best for metabolism, weight management overall, and just trying to not say sedentary. I think a lot of people, we get activity in, but are we sitting at our computers for 6, 7, 8, 9+ hours without moving much? That really lowers our metabolism. What also goes into consideration here is basal metabolic rate, your energy around physical activity, all the other energy throughout the day. So, getting up to go to the bathroom, getting out of bed, XYZ, and then the thermogenic effect of food. So all these come together to determine metabolism overall, which is why calories in, calories out, and exercise doesn't quite equate. It's a much more complicated equation. Again, can go into this more in depth later on, but really want you to understand the importance of each different aspect and little things we can do. So increase movement overall, especially walking. And then tied in with that is the variety and consistency. So different types of activity understandably do different things for our body, right? So, cardiovascular system and mental health benefit from, aerobic activity. When we do strength training, we get, benefits on our bone density. Also, the more muscle that we build, the more energy and the more metabolism is required for that. So good weight management strategy that way. Again, these are generalizations. They do probably 100 things each, but good to have some cardio in there, good to do some strength training. Also want to do some restorative relaxation types of activities. So, yoga, meditation, those kind of things. And again, walking overall too. And then consistency is key here. So starting slow and gradually building versus saying, I'm going to go to the gym every day this week, right? So if we can start small, incorporate different kinds and build from there, consistency is much more important than what we're doing for a short period of time. So gradually building up the consistency and our body's response to that is the best strategy. And then lastly, find something that you enjoy. You're more likely to stick with it. If we can think about maybe activities or hobbies that you enjoy that are movement based, that can be really helpful too. As the weather gets warmer here in the Midwest, very nice when we can finally start to get outside. Maybe we're doing some yard work, gardening, those kind of things. Again, great movement based activities. So we don't have to just stick to running on a treadmill toward a wall or, doing strength training if we hate it, but finding something that you enjoy and kind of building off of that. Sleep, as you can see, affects the entire body. There was a study that was done that showed that driving tired is as bad as, if not worse than, driving drunk in terms of reaction time. But how do you measure that, right? Very easy to do a breathalyzer and see that someone's drunk. It's harder to convince someone that they're tired. And, truly, what does that look like? Is that 6 hours? Is that 3 hours, right? But generally, the less amount of sleep, the worse it is for your body. When we sleep, our body does that full reset. Kind of consider it like going to a car wash, right? We get that full reset throughout our body versus just like leaving your car outside when it rains. It might get some, but it's not fully doing that full wash through your body. And over time, maybe you don't go to the car wash, you develop rust or these issues build up, right? So we might not notice it immediately after a night, but over time we gradually wear down and can significantly contribute to different types of disease and illness. So protect the sleep. I usually break this down into sleep environment and then sleep routine. So thinking about optimal temperature between 60 and 67 degrees. Wanting to make sure we reduce I know it seems chilly, load up the blankets, you can stay warm if you want, but your core body temperature drops when you sleep. And if it's too warm around you, it can't really do that. So you're not getting that deep quality sleep. We want to make sure it's totally dark, no electronics, none of that, but also reducing our exposure to blue light, so screens before bedtime. Highly recommend blue light glasses if you are going to watch TV or use your phone, but reducing it completely overall is best. And then trying to be in a very quiet environment so that little sounds aren't, distracting you. You might not think it makes that much of a difference, but if we have any way of measuring it, like, I have an Oura ring, some people have Apple Watches, Fitbits, etc., right? It really captures the nuances of sleep and you can see the little changes and the effect it has. So you might think it's okay until you do a deeper dive and realize maybe you just got used to having some of these things, a little bit off or a poor quality of sleep. Do not underestimate the importance and the incredible healing potential of a good night's sleep. So sleep environment is something that we can almost completely control. And sleep routine is important to think about our circadian rhythm, right? So as it starts to get dark out, our body naturally releases more melatonin, makes us tired. And then as it starts to get light, it reduces, the melatonin, and we have basically none in our body during the day. So you want to be sleeping around these natural times. That's why daylight savings throws it off a little bit, and it might take a couple of weeks to get back into your routine, but trying to stick to about an hour of going to bed and waking up at the same time, even on weekends. I know it's hard, but your body will thank you. And then lastly, and really important, is the wind down routine. So you start to signal to your body what you want it to do, and it can kind of predict, okay, we're doing the same couple things, same general time. I know what I'm supposed to do. Recommending, very low energy activities. So don't be finishing up cleaning around the house or running around, but maybe reading on the couch, breath work. Some people like to journal before bed to clear their mind. I sit in the same spot. I have my essential oils going to kind of wind me down. I will read. Again, that whole process kind of signals to my body it's time to go to sleep. And then we want to have the general same wake up routine as well. Again, so our body kind of knows what we're doing. And we want to save our bedrooms truly for sleep. If you are, working in there, if you're watching TV, if you're doing other things, your brain is confused when you go in there, what you're asking it to do. So we truly just want to go in there and lay down and go to bed. If we can even maybe, read on a different chair downstairs or on the couch, right? You get tired, you go up in your room, that's perfect. We just don't want to be doing so many things in there that your brain gets a little confused. Last thing, I know some people have issues kind of falling or staying asleep. If you can't fall asleep after a certain period of time, or if you wake up and you can't go back to sleep, we want to leave the room, do something very relaxing. So again, maybe meditation, stretching, reading, and then we want to try to go back. So maybe 10, 15 minutes until you see that your body's kind of starting to get tired again, and then go back and truly sleep. Don't lay there for 3 hours if you can't fall asleep, or if you wake up at the same general time, right? Try to do something to reset and then come back. So similar to sleep, stress affects full body. They're slightly different things if you kind of looked at the nuances here, but again, full body effects from stress, highly, highly important to regulate stress. Not just, your response, but also the way that you look at it. And I have a fun link I can send out after it to a TED Talk that I will mention in a minute. But when we think about stress, we want to first understand how it affects our body. I think it's really powerful to know what's going on. So our body is either in a sympathetic or parasympathetic response. So sympathetic is that fight or flight, get away from the saber-toothed tiger, and parasympathetic is the rest and digest or breed and feed. Scientists like the rhymes. Easier to remember that way too. So we can't do both at the same time. So if we're always in that fight or flight, we're not truly relaxing, digesting our food, and actually truly healing our body. So both are important, but the problem is that evolutionarily, we had a better split of the times. Now in our modern lifestyles, a lot of us spend most of our time in the parasympathetic response. But it's pretty easy to switch it over from sympathetic to parasympathetic. So understanding, okay, it's important that my body is responding this way. Maybe I have an important meeting, or I'm doing a presentation, right? And I want to truly focus and take this seriously and hone in on the one thing. That's great. But when that thing is over, we want to be able to take a breath, sit back, and go on with the rest of our day. So breath work is really powerful because it can actually switch our body into that parasympathetic response. So in the top right corner, you'll see different recommendations kind of along with breath work, but there's the box breathing, where you breathe in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. So it's that box. Also good recommendations is to breathe out and hold for longer than we're breathing in. So when we breathe in, our heart rate elevates. When we breathe out, it lowers. So we can actually really lower our heart rate by breathing out lower and pausing and slowing down. That can be a very powerful approach in the moment. So nice to have some strategies when you're feeling stressed to know what to do. Also, the mindfulness meditation component too really helps us focus on something else and take us away from whatever the stressor is. And then I love progressive muscle relaxation around bedtime. So what that is thinking of tensing and relaxing certain muscles. And usually you'll go from tips of your toes to the top of your head. So you'll tense your toes and then relax. and you'll tense your calf muscles, your thighs, etc., all the way up. And so it's mimicking that stress response and then the relaxation. Again, very powerful to have some approaches to do in the moment, but I also think it's important to have a strategy for overall management. So maybe there's something that you do on a daily or weekly basis that manages that background stress, but you also have a couple options in the moment. So maybe it's breath work. Maybe you just distract yourself with something on your phone, call a friend, give someone a hug, pet your, animal, whatever it is. Good to know that regardless of the situation or environment, you have an approach, but again, also doing things in the background so that little stressors don't set you over the edge. So the TED Talk that I briefly mentioned, and I can send later, it really talks about changing your perspective around stress. So nothing is worse than stress than stressing about the stress. So we don't want to be stressed out and then freaking out because we know it's not good for us. If we can change our approach and view stress as a good thing, it actually doesn't have the same effect on our body. So when we are in a stressful situation that we couldn't prevent or totally control, again, knowing, okay, this is advantageous. I evolved to be this way. I'm going to use what I'm feeling now to my advantage to focus and be the best I can in this situation, and then taking a breath and going out of it. So that kind of goes more in depth on changing your perspective, but also looking at what can we eliminate? Are we chronically stressed in the morning because we get up too late and then we're rushed to leave the house and we forgot our breakfast or the coffee spilled or XYZ, right? Let's just get up 5 to 10 minutes earlier. Or can we push something off to the evening that we don't need to do, right? So eliminate those unnecessary stressors. Look at things that we can kind of predict and anticipate might be stressful so we can strategize going into it. And for what we can't control, let's control our perspective. Other recommendations here, connection and contribution are really powerful. So either, connecting and spending time with loved ones, friends and family around us gives our life meaning, something important to focus on, and it actually changes the way our brain perceives stress and reward. So having a good network is very important, as well as just, again, hobby interest, something that we truly care about, that we incorporate into our maybe daily, weekly lives. Sleep is also important. Like I mentioned, gives your body a better chance at handling stress and, again, overall general healing and well-being. And then exercise, interesting because it does release certain neurotransmitters that kind of cancel out some of what's released when we're stressed. So I don't know a lot of people that think I'm stressed, I'm going to go for, I'm going to go run 10 miles. Maybe some people do, but if we can maybe get out and moving, or just do general exercise on a daily, weekly basis, that actually helps mitigate our stress response. So like I said, none of these things exist in a bubble. They all kind of work together. I know these were tons of things that you can do, but hopefully you see the connection between them, and making a positive change in one area can really have that trickle effect to other areas as well. So you don't have a ton of time to touch on smarter goals, but I would say the important takeaway here is the ER. So people set smart goals, but they don't go back and adjust and reevaluate. And so if you're not actually gauging where you're at, it's hard for you to progress and move forward. So I think it's very important to have some method of recording what you're doing. So if your goal is to, build strength by going to the gym, okay, be specific in your goal that you're going to go X amount of days, time, that sort of thing, but then record it. How many days did you go? How long did you go for? What results are you seeing? And then reflect back on that on maybe, weekly, monthly basis of, am I making my progress toward my goal? How am I getting there, etc. That's really where a coach can come into to provide that third-party support. Having friends and family as accountability are great, but they don't necessarily give us the kind of support we need. Sometimes it's a little too nice and kind and not exactly the constructive feedback of how we can make tangible improvements. So great to have people in your lives that support you, but we want to make sure we have the tools in place to actually progress and get us to our goals. And again, that's kind of where a coach can come in and be helpful there.
Sorry, I had to unmute myself for a minute. Okay, that was awesome. I was taking so many notes. That was great. I loved it.
There was a question in the chat that maybe we want to bring to Brianna before you go
right
on.
now. Sure.
Yeah. Somebody asked, what is the correlation of sleep deprivation and dementia?
Really interesting results there. So Again, high level view, basically what happens is when you sleep, your brain emits cerebral spinal fluid. It goes through your brain and washes away the plaque and the toxins. And if you don't get enough of that because you're not sleeping enough, those toxins and plaque build up and have been correlated with, dementia, Parkinson's, Alzheimer, those kind of things later in life. There's a lot of factors involved, but sleep seems to be pretty important in either causing or preventing some neurodegenerative diseases.
Wow. I've never looked so forward to going to sleep in my life. I'm like,
Protect your sleep.
I know. Yes, for sure. Okay, thank you, Joan. All right, so many of you know me, Kara Kading, and you've been to my classes. I love to teach on health and wellness, and my whole goal, and I think obviously Brianna is the same way, is we just want you to feel empowered. We want to help you to find those natural tools or to be able to incorporate that routine that is easy to build upon so that you are living a better quality life and that you feel like you have taken a hold of your health and wellness. And that's something that we're doing every single day, something that we're learning how to incorporate. And again, habit stack all the different things in our life that just, again, you're feeling better. And so that's our whole goal, right? Increasing what I say is that your health span. So more than your lifespan, how many years you're living, but actually how many years you're living healthy. That is our biggest goal, right? And so that's what we do. So I'm going to dive into doTERRA and talk about essential oils. And I just want to say that, and I love the fact that Brianna and I have teamed up together because, and I always teach on the fact that it's not just essential oils. Like it isn't just taking this one bottle of peppermint and this is going to cure everything. So this is just helping, the essential oils will help to really support you in your health and wellness as you're on your wellness journey and doing all those steps that she talked about of incorporating that into your daily routine. Okay. So with doTERRA, I'm only going to talk doTERRA for very specific reasons. First of all, these oils are going to be natural and safe. They are simply extracts from plants. It's what the plants use to thrive and survive in nature. We're extracting that and using that for our benefit. All of doTERRA oils have what's called a CPTG standard. That's a certified pure tested grade essential oil. So we've really worked to set ourselves apart from all the junk. I mean, I'd say 85 to 90% of what you see on the market has been adulterated in some way, whether it's been diluted down or a fragrance has been added. It's important to really look and research on the essential oils that you're using. They're going to be really effective. So we're getting to the root cause of your problem. Okay. We're getting on a cellular level, we're really focusing on, okay, what are you struggling with? And the oils actually work to repair the issue instead of just covering up or masking it or just numbing the pain, whatever it may be. We're getting to your body on a cellular level. So we share 60% of our DNA with plants. And so when we're using them, and I'll talk a little bit about how to incorporate these into your daily routine, but our body sees them as food and fuel and actually gets excited about them as we incorporate them into our routine. And they're going to be affordable. So I can tell you that our family, I have 3 children. We have saved a ton of money every single year because our essential oils or our doTERRA products have really become our first line of defense in our home. We feel empowered. It's so great to see, since I started, now my children are all teenagers, and it's so great to see them with their own little collection of doTERRA products, their own natural tools. They're much more in tune with their bodies and sensing kind of when maybe something's off or when they're feeling something, and they know what to grab or what to use, or when to take a nice Epsom salt bath with a calming oil, or what oil to put on their stomach when they have digestive issues, those kinds of things. So affordability is incredible, because when we talk about some of these products, they work for not just one specific thing. Usually when you read about one of the essential oils, they work for at least like 15 different things. So it's not like you're going to have something, on hand where it's only going to work for one thing. It's going to be amazing. So I love to talk about all the many, many uses too. The ways that you can use oils in your home, the three key ways is aromatic. So either that is, I think I have one here, just this is a little travel like diffuser. So I just got back from Mexico. I'm unpacking my suitcase that's sitting here. I would never leave home without a diffuser. And the reason why, and the first thing you think about is like, oh, it's just to make the room smell good, which it does. It has a great impact on the mood of the room. Obviously, if you're smelling something pleasant, you're going to be in a different mood. But it also cleans and purifies the air. So again, for travel is really important, or obviously in the home, that's really important also. So the molecules are small enough to be able to clean, purify, eliminate airborne pathogens. And when we're smelling it, we're also inhaling that. That's getting into our system, and our body is benefiting that way too. If you don't have a diffuser, you can be your own little diffuser. Peppermint, like, is one of my favorites. And I'll just do a little dab of it, rub it together, take it in, smell it, and it's being, all those molecules are being released into the air. So you can smell it very easily and have an impact that way. You can put it in your hair. The wintertime, I love to massage it into like a scarf or your coat, something like that. That works really, really well. You can also use your oils topically, so you can apply right to the area of concern. So this is wherever you're having an issue, whether it's a digestive issue, you can apply oils right to your stomach. If it's neck pain, peppermint for sure feels amazing on muscle tension and tightness. You're having trouble sleeping, you can massage, right into your temples. Take some deep breaths. It's incredible. So, or an injury. So we'll talk about lavender in a little bit, because that is a Swiss Army knife of oils that we use topically all the time. And then internally. So you only want to do this with doTERRA essential oils, again, just because of the quality. You want to be really careful of what we're applying and putting on our skin, but we're also taking internally. So, and not all of the oils you're going to be taking internally. So always look on the side of the bottle for supplemental effects. That means that it's safe to ingest. And with the purity and the potency of our oils, a little bit is going to go a long way. So like in my water, I'm just doing 1 drop. Okay. 1 drop is all you need. And it will have a big impact. So you get a lot of bang for your buck. Okay, I'm going to highlight some of my favorites. So, when we talked about water and hydration and how important that is for you, recommending to drink half of your weight in ounces. So, if you weighed 100 pounds, you want to be drinking 50 ounces of water. That is our goal. And so, sometimes drinking water, again, it doesn't have any flavor, which sometimes I even prefer. I'm just like, okay, I don't need anything in here right now. But it's great to change it up, because having some flavor in your water, I feel like, and I hear this from a lot of like new customers when we sit down and kind of revisit, like, okay, how's it going with your oils? How, what are you doing? And they're like, oh my gosh, I'm drinking so much more water now because it tastes good, right? And so you can always change it up. You can do grapefruit is wonderful for metabolism. Lemon is a great cleanser. Peppermint is even good. Digestion is another one that is really good, just for digestive relief. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And lately, I've been in love with lime. You can use lime. It tastes great in your water. You can put it in like a mocktail or even a cocktail, or you can even put it in your guacamole, and it tastes great. So one of my favorites right now. One of my ones that I've been putting in my water pretty religiously almost every single day is MetaPower. This is our metabolic blend. So when Brianna talked about your metabolism, a lot of times people think about metabolism just being like more energy or weight loss, but there's so much more to metabolism. I think we're going to tackle that probably next month together. But your metabolism affects all of your systems. So as we work to kind of rebuild and revive our metabolism, I mean, I know, and everybody knows, right? We always talk about it all the time. As we get older, we're like, oh, our metabolism is so sluggish. Things don't function the way they used to. Maybe you feel, a lack in energy or weight gain, those kinds of things that we might struggle with. It can be turned back. Okay, we can make those adjustments and tweak those things to be able to start to feel better again and have that energy back. So MetaPower is a blend of grapefruit, lemon, peppermint, ginger, and cinnamon. And so putting 1 to 2 drops, you can do it in your water. I love the way that this tastes in a smoothie. It's incredible that way too. But what this blend does is it helps to curb sugar cravings. And so I will put it in my water kind of first thing in the morning, or it's on my nightstand, and I'll even dab it on my tongue. And I feel like it helps me to make smarter food decisions throughout the day. So instead of waking up and I don't know if I've ever done this, but I would never like crave like pancakes or donuts or, something like that. Like I definitely gravitate more towards healthier options throughout the day when I have MetaPower in my water. It's also really good for skin. So you can do this. I do it with some coconut oil and take some MetaPower. My usually ratio of your coconut oil to your actual oil itself, like this, is 3 to 1. So 3 drops of your coconut oil, 1 drop of your actual doTERRA oil itself. And you can either mix those in the palm of your hand, or like I have it in a little, like 1 ounce little dropper bottle, and I've mixed that already together. So I will massage that into problem areas like my stomach and my hips. And I've noticed a huge difference in like just the smoothness of the skin. So it works really, really well for that. The best thing about it, hopefully I have your attention here, with inhibiting fat cell maturation. That is so exciting to me. When we gain weight, it's important to know that like we don't gain more fat cells. The fat cells actually just get bigger. So this is a great little analogy down here. Like these are your little fat cells. They're just kind of like little small little balloons. But as we gain weight, those fat cells fill up. Okay, they get bigger, like these big blown up balloons right here. And so when we're using this metabolic blend that comes in the oil itself, and there's also other methods of delivery that we'll talk about, but this is inhibiting that fat cell maturation. So this is actual clinical studies of fat cells. And by using this over time, it actually eliminates those and protects your cells from getting into bigger balloons. Okay. So, and I've been using it since October. I absolutely love this product. I sing it from the rooftops. It has made a huge difference in my energy level. Again, those sugar cravings. I have lost 15 pounds. Again, the skin is smoother. It has been one of my favorite products to talk about, but it's a great one to incorporate into your water routine, into your daily routine, because it's going to help to fuel you, to balance your energy throughout the day. It does so much. It's an incredible blend. And then as we dive into the opposite spectrum, when we're talking about sleep, and we all just learned how incredible sleep is one of my favorite things. Like I look so forward to it. And I love having that evening ritual kind of winding down, right? And by having a specific smell like lavender can create that anchor. So every time I will smell lavender, it's a signal to my body like, okay, it's time to calm down. This is the time that Kara is going to be winding down, falling asleep. And so sleep is so important for maintaining that healthy weight. This is the time that we clean and flush out those toxins. Our body and our mind is starting to organize and recategorize all of our thoughts, all those things that happen throughout the day, and trying to kind of compartmentalize them instead of having them be and feel so scattered throughout our mind. And again, our body, this is when all the renewal and the repairing is happening. We're replacing those energy reserves, we're flushing out the waste products and rebuilding that metabolism. So really being diligent about setting that good sleep routine is so, so important for all of our systems. But lavender, we always, I mean, most people, when I teach a class, I'm like, okay, what is lavender for? And you guys can throw it in the chat. What is the first thing that comes to your mind when we're talking about lavender? And everyone pretty much says the same thing. What do you guys think it is? Let me see if I can open the chat and see. Yes, calming. Exactly, Joan. It is the first word. Everyone's like, yes, calming. And this is a great way to remember lavender because, yes, it's going to be very calming for the emotions, very, very supportive for sleep, but it's also going to be very calming for the skin. So having it in a rollerball form like this is called lavender touch. And what that means is that the lavender has already been diluted down with that coconut oil so that we can apply it directly to our skin. And it creates like a little protective barrier so we don't have any reaction. We never want to put like oils directly on the skin, just because for three reasons. First of all, we don't want to have any kind of a reaction to it. Everyone's body is different, but the coconut oil is going to be a great protective barrier. It also helps the oils to move and cover a larger surface area. It's going to help your oils to stretch, but it's also going to give them weight. So when we're applying lavender in a rollerball form like this, it's going to stay localized where you're applying it for a longer period of time. And lavender, like I said, this is a key one that's always with me. It's in our first aid kit because it is so calming for the skin. Cuts, bumps, scrapes, bruises, burns, bee stings, sunburns, anything like that. All my children are athletes, and in their gym bag, they always have lavender in there because it's great for like those floor burns or bruising, anything like that. Lavender is going to actually, again, remember, we're working with our body on a cellular level. So we're actually going to be healing and repairing any kind of injury. Okay. And it's a natural antihistamine. That's why it's so great for any kind of bee stings or bug bites. It's going to prevent that reaction that we normally have when we get a bite like that. It's going to keep that down and keep that in check and help the skin to heal faster. Like I said, I love it for deep sleep. It is, I have this signal now. And when I smell it, even on vacation, I had the rollerball and just rolled it in my hands and just wiped the pillows down. And it was so relaxing. And then it just feels kind of like a spa, right? To give yourself that little treat at night is just takes a few seconds, and it's wonderful. Another great product for sleep is a supplement called Serenity. And some of you may be familiar with the Serenity oil itself, and this is different than that. Okay. So this has lavender in it, but it also has some really important other ingredients that the blend itself doesn't have. So it has L-theanine. This is helping the body to relax, but without feeling drowsy. So if you've ever relied on like a sleeping pill at night, and then you just have trouble waking up in the morning, or you feel like you're in a funk, throughout the day, like you can't really come out of it. That's just a negative side effect of taking like a sleeping pill. And so Serenity is a natural way to help your body to relax without that grogginess. In fact, you can even take it throughout the day. Like I have just horrible travel anxiety. Airports freak me out almost worse than like a doctor's office. And so whenever we're in there, I will take a Serenity pill, and that just helps me to relax. I don't know why I don't think I'm going to make it through the security checkpoints. Like I'm not smuggling anything, I promise, but I just feel so nervous. Like, I don't know what they're going to find in my bag. Like, I don't know if someone planted something in there, but like all those little stories get going in my head. And so when I take a Serenity, I'm totally fine. I'm much more relaxed, and I don't have that like drowsy feeling. Lemon balm is in here, so that's helping with those nervous feelings. Passion flowers helping with the emotional stress or things that maybe keep us up at night when we're thinking about just emotional issues that are going on. And that German chamomile is wonderful, again, for helping to naturally relax the body. And this is safe for all ages. So even when my children were younger and having trouble sleeping at night, they could take one of these. And it's really been part of our routine every single evening. Some other great ones. Cedar wood is a favorite of mine. Cedar wood is such a great oil. Again, you can see that it does so many wonderful things. Great for the skin. It could be in a combination of a men's cologne, helpful very much with concentration. It's great for repelling bugs, but it's also an oil that helps our body to naturally produce melatonin. So this melatonin is what helps when Brianna talked about that circadian rhythm. That is what your body is being, if your body is in a good circadian rhythm, that is naturally kind of waking up at the same time and falling asleep. So it gets in that rhythm where you don't even really need an alarm clock. Like your body's already sensing the wake up, the go to sleep feeling. Okay. So cedar wood is going to help you to naturally produce the melatonin so that you don't have to take a melatonin supplement. Okay. So that's what I love it for. It is a wonderful one. And it's also really great when we're talking about sleep. I will put this in a spray bottle. I always take it with me when I travel because it repels any kind of pests, especially like any kind of bed bugs or anything creepy in a hotel room. Or I even realized, like, a friend mentioned, and like, again, here we are at the airport, but like all the suitcases get merged together and thrown in a bin, all together. They're all laying on top of each other. And I don't know where other people's bags have been or what's crawling around in there, but if you can even spray your suitcases and your bags, and it will repel any bugs that are living on other people's bags, you're going to be totally fine. So I always have that spray with us. And vetiver was actually one of my very first doTERRA oils, which is kind of like an oils 201, but I just fell in love with it. I was sitting next to a person that was wearing it. I didn't even, I mean, had just met them, and I'm like, I don't know why. I said, but I just sitting next to you, I said, I feel so much more calm. And I said, I don't know what that is. Like, what are you wearing? And she's like, it's vetiver. And I'm like, oh, it was heavenly, right? I'm just like, I mean, I didn't even know this person, but I got to know her pretty well. And I couldn't believe the effects that that had on me. So vetiver, again, was the first actually doTERRA oil that I bought. And I just would even just open the bottle and just smell it. I just love the way that it smelled. And it helped me tremendously with stress, anxiety, overwhelm, helps to relax. I love to roll it right on my heart. So anytime you're feeling that anxiety or overwhelm, it is so effective and so powerful to apply your oils right to your heart, or even on your stomach, because a lot of times our stress and anxiety, you can feel it in your gut, right? You can feel that uneasiness, that queasiness, and anything that we can do to help to calm down and relax the gut is going to help all of our systems. And so I use this all the time. Generally, if you're familiar with vetiver, this is a thicker oil. And so whenever you have the bottle, it's just really thick, really hard to get out of there. I usually end up taking off that orifice and putting like a dropper on the top instead. And so the fact that they put it in a roller ball for us has been a game changer. My daughters actually love this for their skin, so it's been super helpful for healthy, glowing skin. But I will roll vetiver on our big toes at night, and this helps me to just sleep like a baby, to sleep and stay asleep. I think that's so important. So because I used to be one of those people that I couldn't wait to go to bed, fall asleep, and then it'd be 2 a.m. and my mind would be racing. So vetiver is one that is really going to work to calm that mind chatter. And when we dive into, and I'm really passionate about stress and anxiety because this is what I struggled with the most before I had met doTERRA. And I had 3 small children. I was working full time. My kids were coming with me to work, which was a blessing. Like, I loved having them there, but it was really hard to juggle it all happening at the same time. And so I was on different medications to try to ease that stress. And I had just horrible negative side effects from that. I was losing my short-term memory. And I felt like a zombie. I didn't really feel connected to anything. And so I worked to kind of wean myself off of those medications. And I'm so thankful for doTERRA because that is what really helped me along that journey. And so Balance was another great oil that I just had in my pocket all the time. And something, again, very simply, I could just open up and just take a couple just deep breaths. Like Brianna mentioned, that kind of that box breathing and how important it is to just give yourself 10, 15 seconds can be a huge game changer of just kind of stopping, a little bit of a reset, work on that breathing, and just to kind of calm everything down, right? You definitely have 15 seconds because it will be such a game changer when you allow yourself to do that. But I really focused on, and I do this every single day. And it's so important to know that, like, your higher frequency thoughts raise your vibration. So daily, I work on surrounding myself with good, positive thoughts, with encouragement, with good, positive people, and just focusing on the good things that are happening, right? Because we can get so swallowed up with the news. I mean, it's one thing after another, right? Just negative, negative, negative. And I spend the time in the morning of just taking a few minutes to just write down my top 5 things that I'm grateful for. And even when I'm driving in the car, I've been practicing like noticing what beautiful things I'm seeing around me. And that's getting easier and easier because we're moving into spring and things are starting to come to life again. There have been some challenging days that I've been driving around here in Wisconsin, like this is not pretty, right? Even today was kind of a struggle. I'm like, where did that sunshine go? What is going on? But the more you focus on that, the energy flows where your focus goes. And your whole perception is going to be your own reality. So the more that we can practice and focus on seeing the good in every situation, that it's just going to come back to us. It's just going to surround us even more. It's incredible. Elevating your appreciation. So I do this little appreciation game, and sometimes I'll even do it with my kids, and we'll go back and forth. And I mean, at first it felt kind of corny, but now we really look forward to it. And it's like, I really appreciate this about you, or I really appreciate that you helped with the dishes, or I appreciate that you walk the dogs, or those kinds of things. And we go back and forth with what we appreciate about each other, and you start to appreciate more and more, and you start to notice, and again, really focusing on the good things. Your vibe attracts your tribe. Again, surrounding yourself with good, happy, quality people, and the better, stronger vibe that you're putting out like that, and staying in this good mindset, it's amazing what you will attract in your own life. That gratitude journaling, I do that in the morning, and sometimes I wake up and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't have time, to write this. And I'm like, I do, right? I can give myself 5 minutes. All I have to do is just write these 5 things, and it makes such a difference in my whole mindset throughout the day. And then focusing on what we can control. There are so many things of stress and anxiety and things that are coming at us that are out of our control. But if we really focus on what we can do, and really, again, change and shift your mindset. Like for me, tomorrow night, I was so excited. I had a class scheduled. I was going to be teaching at a friend's studio, and it was going to be, we had so many people coming. And it was my husband and I were actually going to be teaching this class together, the intimacy class. And I was so excited for it. And I got a text today. She sends me a picture, and she has COVID. Right. Well, like we definitely cannot have the class. It's not going to be happening. At first, I'm like, oh, but now I'm like, okay, you know what? That's okay, because we're going to reschedule it. People are excited about it. I have a free night at home. Like, I don't even know what I'm going to do, but it feels like this huge amount of time has just opened up, and I'm just going to enjoy it and just being here with my family. So I could be totally lamenting and being sad about it and thinking about all the horrible things, or what it could have been. But I really work to shift my mindset on tomorrow night's going to be awesome, right? It's going to be great. I just get to hang out and spend time with the family. Maybe we'll watch a movie. I haven't watched a movie in a lifetime. So like, that's going to be great, right? So keep staying on that mindset. So balance is one that I love for this, and adaptive. Adaptive is our calming blend. So if you're looking for something to help you to unwind, to relax, to relieve the stress and anxiety, to help with focusing, this is great for work-related situations, or even in schools, for test taking. Adaptive is a great one. My kids just rub it together in their hands and take a deep breath, and it just helps with easing that stress, anxiety for test taking too. um, digestion is so important. So and I think Brianna and I were reading the same book right now about like your mind gut connection. It's mind blowing as we're learning more and more about how our gut, basically our second brain, determines and steers so much in our systems and in our headspace. So just so you know, 80% of your immune system is in your gut. And so it's really important to focus and make sure that our digestive system is running properly. Of course, that is going to be really important with the foods that we're consuming, but also just throughout our daily lives, and what we can do to be able to help to support our digestive system. So Digest Zen is an amazing blend. And I love our blends. It's really easy to know kind of what they're going to do. Like just looking at Digest Zen, you could probably guess what this blend does. But it helps with everything I say from the mouth to the south. Okay. Any kind of digestive issues, again, in rollerball form, is super easy to roll on and apply to the stomach area for any kind of discomfort, anything that you've got going on, whether it's a constipation issue or diarrhea, nausea, flu-like symptoms, maybe you overindulged, maybe you ate a weird food that didn't agree with you, even like nervousness, morning sickness, anything like that. Digestion is incredible. Also really, really great for sinuses. So if you have that sinus pressure like underneath your cheeks here, I love the rollerball form again, because you can roll this right underneath here and it will help to open up that sinus pressure. And it's great for dogs. I have a dog that, I mean, she's just got sensitive digestive issues, especially when we travel. I mean, it can be so frustrating in the car. She gets like the worst gas in the car because she's just all excited. And like if you it's in the wintertime and the windows are up, like there's nothing you can do about that. And so we will roll Digestin on her ahead of time, and it works so well. Just keeps everything calm and everything smelling a lot better in the car. So we love it for her too. Yeah, so this is a great little belly buster blend, I call it. It's peppermint, ginger, and wild orange together. And this works really, really well for, again, any of that like sluggish digestive feeling when you just know things are not right. Travel can be really hard on the gut, of course. And so having this on hand is great to help to just keep things moving, to keep things functioning properly. Because, first of all, we just talked about how important our healthy gut is for our immune system, but we actually have more neurotransmitters in our gut than we do in our brain. So that's why we're calling this our second brain, and how connected that is with our bodies for emotional support. It's amazing how much is actually running and coming from our gut health, more than what you think of, like what your brain would be doing. PB Assist, this is one of my favorite doTERRA products. This is a supplement that is a pre and probiotic. So I don't know why it says take one capsule 3 times daily. I don't do that. I take one of these every single night at bedtime, is really my best recommendation for how to use this. So this has 6 active strains of, when we talk about friendly, this is like healthy microflora, probiotics that keep our gut healthy. Okay. This will help to support that healthy digestive system and your immune system. The important thing to note about this, and what sets it apart from any other probiotic on the market, is it is a pre and probiotic. So the prebiotic actually starts to work and function in the stomach. And there's a lot of probiotics on the market that when you take it, our stomach acidity is so strong that it will actually start to break down that probiotic before it can actually get into the gut and into the intestines, and really supporting the system. So being that it's a pre and probiotic, it's double encapsulated. So it gets to work in the stomach, but it actually makes it into the intestines, so that we're keeping that healthy microflora in our bodies. Okay. A great analogy, a great way to think about like how and why it's so important to just maintain that healthy gut and that healthy microflora in our system. Um, think about like a movie theater. All right. And all the seats are there. And if we are filling all those seats with healthy, good bacteria, healthy microflora, then when the bad bacteria shows up late to the movie, those seats are already filled, and there's no room for that bad bacteria to build up and get in our gut. So we want to keep it filled, keep those seats filled with that healthy microflora. We have something really awesome with doTERRA happening right now. And I'm so glad that we're talking about this class, because this BOGO box that doTERRA has put together is 50% sold out right now. So it won't last for long, but don't stress, don't worry. Like, this is a great option for you if you are interested in purchasing doTERRA. But we can always work and customize anything that you need to get started. So there's no right or wrong way, but BOGO, you guys know what that means. That is a buy one, get one free. So they have put together this whole collection of this BOGO box. And basically everything is buy one, get one free. And for brand new customers, you're basically buying 4 products and you're going to get 6 products for free. So it's an extra BOGO, and it's only $138, but they have put everything together kind of for what we talked about tonight, all together in one box for you. So we have for gut health, we're focusing on that PB Assist, your pre and probiotic. We also have Terrazyme. This is a natural enzyme that I take in the morning and I take it at night. My daughter has some digestive struggles with food, so she takes this with every single meal. And what that does is it's a natural enzyme that actually helps to break down our food and just puts a lot less stress on our digestive system so that we can absorb our nutrients better. So we're getting better benefit from the food that we're eating. In here is also for sleep. We've got those Serenity soft gels. We've got the cedar wood. We're helping to calm down that overactive, that mind chatter with vetiver and lavender, which again, you're going to use for so many things. The tummy tamer for any kind of stomach or digestive issues, that digestin. Spearmint is another great one. So spearmint is similar to peppermint, but I call it peppermint's sweet sister. So it's not as punchy as peppermint, but it's going to be just as effective. And then for metabolic support, we have that MetaPower oil in there. So tons of goodness in this box. I'm so excited about it. It's been one of my favorite things that they put it all together so geniusly to be able to cover all of those struggles in those categories. So it's $138.50. And then for any brand new customers, you can get a free bottle of that adaptive, that calming blend that I talked about. You can customize and add anything to this. And so when you get started with doTERRA, you will also get what's called the wholesale prices. So that will be 25% off of the retail. And you will, when you order this, you will also have it will include a wholesale membership with doTERRA. And so that means that you have a wholesale account. You can order what you want, when you want, whenever you want, and you will always get 25% off of the retail. You can add any additional products to it. And be able to get, if you do a little bit extra to it, you can get a free pebble diffuser. If you add some other products, you can also get a free bottle of Citrus Bliss, which is like sunshine in a bottle. And you can also get a free little 5 ml of frankincense. And frankincense is one of my favorite oils. We say, when in doubt, frank it out, because frankincense works for just about absolutely everything. It's a wonderful, wonderful oil. So that's a little close up of what those specials are. But with that BOGO box, you get that free bottle of adaptive, which is one of my absolute favorites. So let us know if you have any questions about that and about the BOGO box. I'm so excited. Like I said, it was just perfect timing that for what we put together in the presentation. I feel like the BOGO box covers everything that we talked about. It's pretty incredible. But I will stop sharing, and then we can answer any questions that you have. Oh, Gloria, yeah, your dog with motion sickness, that digestin rollerball is great. And my dog loves it so much. Like when she sees me with it, she will just kind of roll, like, you know how when a dog rolls back to get their belly scratched, she'll just like roll back and get ready for me to just like roll it on. It's awesome. So she makes it really easy on me. But that will help with that too. Any other questions? Or anything else additional that you want to say, Brianna?
It's there's so much more I could go into. I would just say, this is again very general overview. Hopefully these recommendations are things that are helpful to kind of think about or start implementing. But if you have any questions on you specifically, or your unique situation and what you're looking toward, more than happy to answer any of that. I have people that just reach out where they're like, how do I make heads or tails of this supplement? Or I read this article, or, my doctor gave me this recommendation. What does it look like, right? Very happy to be a resource for anyone that's interested. Should have information, but yeah, this is just the start of Kara and I working together, and very happy to be able to come together and present some info to you guys tonight.
And what is the best way for them to connect with you?
So I have a website. I also use Facebook and Instagram if you want to see some content there too, but you can always shoot me an email or call or text.
Okay,
I have a question, Brianna. You mentioned TED Talk. Did you mention the name of the TED Talk?
I will send the link with that.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Yes. Because it's about 14 minutes long. So I didn't want to take up too much of the time tonight, but I think it's worth a watch if you have time.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be great. All right. Well, good. Well, thank you guys for being on. We will we're going to be teaming up, I think, the beginning of April with another presentation. So stay tuned for that. And thanks for being on tonight.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.